I swear to God, this is going to be the dumbest video I've ever done, and for those of you that have been here for a while, you know there are a long string of really stupid videos on this channel, but I am excited about this one because this is one of my favorite holidays. What's going on, everyone? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Today we are talking Thanksgiving and Nintendo, and specifically what Thanksgiving dishes Nintendo characters would be if they happened to be Thanksgiving dishes. I don't know. This is kind of a fever dream. I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, that's a great idea. And I wrote it down. And then I woke up the next morning and I went, what? But we're going with it because this is going to be good stuff. All right. So I have compiled a list of standard traditional Thanksgiving dishes, and I'm going to go through each one and I'm going to list to you what I think each Nintendo character is going to be. Now we're going to start out with the overall meal. And who is the overall meal, both pre and post? Because there's always that anticipation of incredible gluttony, and then there is that post-Thanksgiving nap, and it is no one other than Wario. Of course, the symbol of gluttony, the symbol of greed. There is no one better to illustrate overeating and then the amazing nap afterwards when the tryptophan hits on Thanksgiving than Wario. Of course, now we need to get to the meal itself. And who is the appetizer? Who is the person who's going to be the deviled eggs? Now, I will admit, I am playing a little bit fast and loose with the definition here because this character isn't really for everybody, and he is technically a villain, so I guess he does fit the deviled aspect of things. And it's Wario's partner in crime, Waluigi, man. Like, I love deviled eggs, and I love Waluigi. That's the reason I got some purple in the hat up here. And I really think that he kind of fits the role perfectly, right? Like, he's a little bit villainous, but he's also well-loved. Like, everyone wanted him in Smash, and everyone does tend to like deviled eggs when they're at Thanksgiving for an appetizer. There's always appetizers at Thanksgiving, like there's like a pickle tray and olives and stuff like that. I'm not doing that. We're not talking about those. But now, of course, after the appetizer, it's time for the main event. And what is the main event at Thanksgiving? It is, of course, the roast turkey. Now, we tend to do a brined turkey here in our house, but if you like to do a traditional turkey, that's all you as well. We do a wet brine. We do a apple cider based brine. It is delicious, just a fantastically moist, delicious, wonderful bird. And that's something I'm really looking forward to doing this year. But for me, who is the main event at Nintendo? Who is the number one character? Who is the thing that who is the guy that brings everyone to the yard? I guess with his milkshakes? I don't know. It's going to be Mario, of course. He's the main event. He is the number one guy that everyone is ready for at Nintendo. He's the number one attraction. He would be the roast turkey of our Nintendo character dinner. Just roll with me. This is going to be a weird video, I understand. Next up, of course, the thing that you're going to put on top of your turkey is the gravy. Everyone loves the gravy, and if you don't love the gravy, you're probably not American. I don't know. It's a thing that we like. We love gravy here in the States. It's a thing, and I know they up in Canada they do too, because I'm a fan of poutine, and I do love that brown gravy they put on poutine. But we are talking today about turkey gravy, that delicious, lovely topping that you can put on your turkey, put on your dressing, put on your mashed potatoes. It's kind of the thing that brings everything together, right? And what character at Nintendo brings everyone together more than Toadsworth? That's right, Toadsworth, the mushroom retainer, the absolute magnificence that is the guy that works for Princess Peach, always gets our adventures going in the Mushroom Kingdom. He's the one that brings everyone together, brings everyone there. You can also sub this in for Toad, that's fine with me, I don't mind that. But I am thinking that this is the character that brings everyone together, draws everyone close. That's Toadsworth. Toadsworth is the gravy of our Thanksgiving dinner. I talked about dressing, stuffing, whatever you want to call it. I love stuffing. I mean, shocker, right? Fat guy here loves the carbs. Of course I do. But stuffing to me is one of my favorites. And to me, stuffing is 100% comfort food. It's something that just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. It reminds me of my grandma. It reminds me of dinners that we used to have together at Thanksgiving. And for me, there's no one that represents comfort food more at Nintendo than Luigi. He's a gentle soul. He's a sweet soul. He's someone that people want to be around. He brings you together. He is a stalwart companion. He's never the main attraction, but he's a perfect side dish to Mario's roast turkey. I think Luigi is the stuffing of the Nintendo family. After that, of course, the other thing you can put gravy on is mashed potatoes. And I have named a lot of Nintendo characters so far. They're all from the Mario family, and this is the first time we're stepping out of that because everybody likes mashed potatoes. And there's no one to me that represents what a mashed potato character would be than Link, because honestly, everyone loves him. No one dislikes mashed potatoes or potatoes of some variety. If there's some other kind of potato that you like to have at your dinner, Link is that potato. He's a perfect character to represent potatoes at a Thanksgiving dinner because everyone loves them. Everyone wants those potatoes on their plate. Everyone loves Link. Link is a perfect potato. All right, after that, we have candied yams. Now, candied yams I had to think about for a little bit because it's not necessarily one of my favorite dishes. And at first glance, candied yams are just sweets. It's sweet potatoes, marshmallows, and baked. But when you get down to it, there's a little bit more to it. There's also brown sugar going on. There's always that nice caramelization on the top, those crispy bits of those mini marshmallows that are on top of it. And for me, the character I think of when I think of that is Daisy. At first glance, Daisy is just a sweet character, you know? She is kind of wholesome, just kind of sweet and bubbly, but there's a little bit more to her too. Like if we look at all of her appearances in her different games, she can drive a Mario Kart, she can play tennis, she can golf, she's great at Mario Party. She really fits into a lot of different spots. And I think that that kind of works for her with candied yams because it's a little bit more to it. Overall a sweet dish, don't get me wrong, just like Daisy, but there's a little bit more to her than just what's on that outward appearance. She has a lot of talents, a lot of facets to her character, kind of like candied yams do. Next up, one of my personal favorites. Again, love the carbs. No surprise here. That's dinner rolls. Dinner rolls are a staple. They're a classic. It's never something you really think of first when you get to Thanksgiving dinner, but everyone always appreciates them when they're there. And for me, no one better represents dinner rolls on a Thanksgiving plate than Donkey Kong. Either you're talking about the Big Ape himself or his original game. It is one of those games that is just a perfect title. Everyone loves it. Everyone enjoys Donkey Kong, but it's probably not the first thing you think of when you're thinking about video games from Nintendo. Most people go to Mario, most people go to Zelda, they go to Metroid. But for me, Donkey Kong is that underappreciated classic, that stalwart standby that is always going to be part of your Nintendo lineup, always going to be part of that Thanksgiving dinner. He is a dinner roll. Donkey Kong's a perfect representation for that. I just think that one works. Like that was the one, my favorite one on this whole list, other than Wario being Gluttony. Donkey Kong as a dinner roll was my personal favorite. Okay, this one might get some hate comments, probably from Gary. We're talking about green bean casserole now. I am not a fan of green bean casserole. I think it's gross. I think it's wildly overrated. I do not think it is something that needs to be on a Thanksgiving plate. But for some people, they love it. It's something that they absolutely adore. It's something that they want on their plate at all times. They always want it in their games. They always want it in their Thanksgiving. And to me, that's Yoshi. Like, Yoshi is an acquired taste for me. I didn't like him at first, but I've grown to enjoy him, and it's something that I like to have part of my adventures when I'm playing Mario games. He's kind of green bean casserole, and it doesn't hurt that he's also green. That does work in this regard, but for me, he's a character that he's not necessarily the one I'm going to go for, but I've appreciated him more the more I've had him. The more I've played his games, I've appreciated him more. Kind of like people get with green bean casserole. All right, next up, and that is going to be Pikachu. And I mean, I will admit, a lot of this has to do with the fact that he's yellow, just like corn. But I've never seen a more beautiful thing. If you know the song, you know what's going on here. But for me, Pikachu is perfect for corn because, like I said, you've never seen a more beautiful thing. And that's kind of like Team Rocket with Pikachu, right? They are obsessed with capturing him, obsessed with making him part of their collection. And they've never seen a more beautiful thing than Pikachu. I think that's a good fit. It's a stretch, I will admit. Please forgive me on this one. I had a hard time coming up with one for corn, but I think that's what we're going to go with. He is corn. All right, next up, we have macaroni and cheese. Now, macaroni and cheese is not something that is traditionally at my Thanksgiving plate. I've been at my friend Keely's house when she has created Thanksgiving dinner, and she served macaroni and cheese at hers, and it absolutely blew my mind. It was a 100% a crowd favorite, something that just made sense to me. It's perfect comfort food, and that is exactly what Thanksgiving is about. Now, the character I'm associating with this might be a little curious because I'm actually putting Bowser as macaroni and cheese. And to some people, that's like, well, he's a villain. He doesn't belong there. And that's kind of what I thought of macaroni and cheese when I first had it at a Thanksgiving dinner. In my head, it didn't belong, but when I had it, it was a perfect fit. And Bowser to me is a crowd pleaser of a villain. He is always popular. He's always well loved. He's always perfectly added to a story. He's a natural, just like macaroni and cheese is at a Thanksgiving dinner table. There's two in a row here. I'm actually pretty proud about it. All right, next up, we have cranberry sauce. And for me, cranberry sauce is Zelda. Now, you might be saying, Zelda, why would she be cranberry sauce? So cranberries, when you look at them, you think, oh, they're sweet. They have a sweet exterior. They're going to be delicious. But everyone knows that cranberries are a little bit tart. They're a little bit bitter. And everyone knows that Zelda is actually chic. She has a bit of a hard edge to her. She has a tougher side. And I think she's a perfect representation of the cranberry at Thanksgiving. At first glance, you're not going to think much of her, but when you actually experience the character, you realize that there's a lot more to her than just what her outward appearance is. One of my favorite dishes at Thanksgiving is glazed carrots. I love them. I think they're delicious. And glazed carrots are great for your brain. So for me, I had to rack my brain on this one. I had to think about this one for a while, but for me, the perfect character to represent glazed carrots is Dr. Kawashima from Brain Age. Glazed carrots, like I said, are great for your brain. They actually help with mental health. They help with brain growth. And the games in Brain Age are perfect as glazed carrots. That is such a wonderful fit. Like, to me, that was perfect. Like, I actually hit on it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's Dr. Kawashima. That's perfect. All right, we are wrapping things up now. After dinner, of course, you have to have the dessert. And we're having 2 desserts at my dinner table. First up is pumpkin pie. Now, while she is known for her cake, just ask Mario, the answer here is peach. She is a crowd pleaser. She is the most popular one. She is the one everyone gravitates towards. Everyone loves peach. Everyone loves pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. But my second dessert is apple pie. Apple pie is one of my favorites, and it's something that is often underappreciated and often forgot about at Thanksgiving. Kind of like the character I associated with it, and that's Kirby. Kirby is such an amazing Nintendo character, such a fantastic Nintendo mascot. But he's often forgot compared to other characters, just like apple pie would be at Thanksgiving. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this goofy-ass video that I just did. Like I said, I woke up in the middle of the night, had the idea, and wanted to run with it. Thank you all for the well wishes from the COVID video. I really appreciate that as well. I hope if you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And to my Canadian friends who already celebrated in October, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, just a little bit late. Thank you all so much for your support. If you are new here, please hit subscribe. They're not always this silly, but they are always fun. I'll talk to you guys soon.